Shelton Benjamin, honestly one of the biggest, if not the biggest, flops in all of WWE. Like, how do they fuck up so bad by not pushing him? He started off in OVW in the Minnesota Stretching Crew tag team with Brock Lesnar, and they were pretty successful winning tag team gold in OVW. Shit, they even wrestled in WWE together as a tag team, having a match on Heat against none other than Rico and the Prototype. Here, let me help you out with that. Rico and John Cena. Now, they'd go back to OVW and eventually they would disband. Lesnar and Shelton were no more. But this is where Shelton would tag team with Charlie Haas, forming the world's greatest tag team with Kurt Angle. These guys were amazing, simply put, super athletic and agile. Plus, I mean, they were with Kurt Angle, so they had to be successful. Now, eventually the brand swap would happen, and they would call Shelton Benjamin from SmackDown to Raw. His solo push would finally start, and on the first episode of Raw, he would actually beat Triple H in a 1v1. This is honestly unheard of at the time. I mean, this is Evolution Triple H we're talking about. You might as well throw Shelton Benjamin to the wolves. But no, he would actually come out on top, and this would start a feud against Evolution. He would go on to beat Triple H 3 separate times in 3 separate ways: pinfall, countout, and disqualification. Then he would go on to defeat Ric Flair at Backlash, but he would fall short to Randy Orton at Bad Blood. Shortly after this, he would break his hand accidentally punching Lancade's cast during a dark match. But he would come back shortly before Taboo Tuesday, where we would see Shelton Benjamin versus Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental Championship. This would be his first Intercontinental Championship win, along with his first solo run.
Tuesday, when you wrestled Chris Jericho, did you truly not know that you were going to be his opponent?
I had every belief that Batista would be facing Chris Jericho.
But, I'm playing devil's advocate here. WWE could have said, well, Shelton Benjamin won even if you didn't win the fan vote. Or Batista won even if you didn't win the fan vote. So they truly let this go to a fan vote.
Chris had 15 guys, and they refused to give him any information. And he kept, he kept trying. He'd be like, yeah, who's it leaning toward? Like, they wouldn't tell him anything. Me, I was expecting to be in the back watching the show. And I got to hit it with the T-bone, 1, 2, 3, and I heard 3, and I was like, wait, what?
So you didn't even know the finish before you went out?
Nothing.
What?
Shelton Benjamin's solo career would finally start, and he would actually hold the title for 244 days, a record that almost took 20 years to break by Gunther. Then Shelton would go on a losing streak, to the point where he became a heel, to the point his mama came in for the rescue. No, it's not his actual real mom, she was just an actor. But this gimmick was actually working. It was good. It had some comedy in it, but Shelton did have some success winning Intercontinental Championships during it too. Unfortunately, they had to write her off TV due to a heart surgery storyline, but in reality, it was deeper than that. Now comes the second ever Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 22. This match was made for Shelton Benjamin. But wait, what about the first ever Money in the Bank? Yeah, this guy's a fucking beast. T-bone suplexing people off the ladder, jumping and diving out the ring with a 50-inch vertical. Who can ever forget that ladder spot where Shelton Benjamin ran up the ladder? These Money in the Bank matches is where this man shined, and they should have been enough to push him to the moon. When you think about chairs, you think about Edge and Christian. When you think about tables, you think about the Dudley Boys. Ladders go to the Hardy Boys, but Money in the Bank is all for Shelton Benjamin. Sadly, he never won a Money in the Bank match, even though he deserves to win every single one of them. He would team up with Charlie Haas again for a short time, but would end up going to the rebranded ECW in 2008 as the Golden Standard gimmick, winning mid-card championship until eventually he was released by the company. Shelton would go on to Ring of Honor, teaming with Charlie Haas yet again, and after that he would actually go to New Japan Pro Wrestling. In 2017, he would make his return to the WWE, teaming up with Chad Gable, and they did see some success winning tag team gold together. But Shelton Benjamin was not a happy camper. He was pretty upset that they put him back into a tag team, because he's already shown that he can compete in singles matches. Also putting him up with Chad Gable, they pretty much just rebranded and repackaged the world's greatest tag team. After breaking up from the tag team, he would literally just be jobbed out. It seemed like there was no future for him in the WWE. His return right now was mediocre at best. Then the Hurt Business started. This faction was very closely related to Evolution. They looked amazing. They talked the talk, and they walked the walk. It seemed like they were unstoppable. They started winning gold, and MVP was their manager. The only way from here was up. But then as soon as they started gaining traction, they decided that Lashley is going to turn on Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Like, what the fuck? September 21st, 2023, Shelton leaves the WWE. Yet again, How do they drop the ball twice in a row? If you ask me, Vince was a complete idiot. But hey, everything works out, I guess. Because now in AEW, Shelton Benjamin is going strong with MVP and Lashley. The Hurt Syndicate. They are champions at the moment, and hopefully Shelton Benjamin gets all the respect that he deserves.